Hello, gorgeous. How are you today? It is Tuesday. It is 2 p.m. Mountain, and it is time for another Tune-Up Tuesday. Welcome! Happy Tuesday. Happy spring. It is popping over here in Mexico. As you can see, my Mexican palm trees are in bloom, as always. And today I'm really excited to talk about this idea of knowing when you know, or knowing. I was actually struggling with what I would call this talk today because I really wanted to call it knowing when to stop dating. But then I figured it would be a little confusing, but I might still call it that. Knowing when to stop dating because you've found somebody worth hanging out with, worth sticking around for, worth your time. Knowing when you've found a good match. What does it take? Well, I did an informal poll on my Facebook page today, and it was really funny because I asked the question, how many dates was it with your person before you knew that you found your person? And I had so many people answer and respond. It was so amazing to just see the flurry of activity because A, that means that there's evidence for you to see how many people are in love and found amazing love and how swiftly and easily it came to them. So if you're any of my clients or anybody who follows me, you know I talk about gathering evidence that supports that what you want exists and that it's out there for you. So that's one thing you could do is hop on over to my personal page and just read through some of the comments to give yourself some inspiration and gather the evidence that it exists, it's possible, and it's possible for you too. But what was really amazing about the majority of those responses was that people knew right away, like really soon. Now, I'm not saying that this is the way that it has to be, or that we're looking for that. But overwhelmingly, the responses reflected, and I mean, this might just be a sample of my community and my audience, but overwhelmingly, the sample taken today was just revealed that for so many people, it happens very quickly and very decisively, like very knowingly, like very clearly, okay? And it really made me wonder, because that was my experience too. I met Nick on June 3rd, 2011, and by June 12th, 9 days later, I knew he was my person. And then I expressed that to him. I said that I didn't even say anything. Like, it was after the performance that really unfolded that I realized that I wrote my own love story. And then we rode this bike ride, and then we were sitting down, and I was about to say something, and he said to me, "So, do you believe in soulmates?" And I was like, "What? 9 days for me, in my experience." But again, overwhelmingly, the people who responded to my question today, very, very quickly. So it really made me wonder, what is it about that? What is it about knowing so quickly, so soon, and so clearly, so decisively? And I came up with 3 things, and I would love to hear from you as to, especially if you have found your person and you had a quick turnover, I would love to hear from you, what you think it took for you. But for me, and what I notice in my clients, my friends, and family who it happens that way for, it's a matter of 3 major things. And again, I'm totally open to input on this. But one of them is knowing what you want, really clearly knowing what you want, without a doubt, and being specific about it, and being unapologetic about it, yet holding that vision with an open hand, right? And I talk about this a lot. We can't hold the vision with a white knuckle grip because there's no room, no space for God, Spirit, the universe to work as magic on our vision and serve us up something even more surprising and delighting. But that's the very first thing, is being so clear on what you want, and not in any vague terms. Okay, I was speaking with a woman yesterday who was in a relationship, and it was kind of like a 50 to 80% relationship, and she knows it, yet, well, that's a whole other Tune-Up Tuesday. There's a fear there of really embracing the full picture of her heart's desire because she's pretty clear, but then there's this fear that blocks her from being ultra clear on what she wants and really embracing that, because there's the fear that it doesn't exist. So, okay. The second thing that I think is really, really important in being able to receive love so fully, so clearly, and so quickly is knowing ourself. So knowing what you want and knowing yourself. And that includes a whole bunch of things, including knowing your emotional states, knowing, like, being in touch with your feelings, knowing what you're feeling at any given state, knowing what you need at any given time. Oh boy, that's like a whole training, more than a Tune Up Tuesday. Note to self. It's also knowing yourself. It's also knowing your history, your patterns, your belief system, the stories that you've made up of yourself, or about love, or about men, or relationships. Knowing where you hold yourself in finites. Like, well, I'm from New England, so therefore I think a certain way, like absolutes. I'm from a specific kind of family, so that means this about me, right? Knowing yourself. What do you tell yourself? What do you tell others? What's your story? But knowing yourself is other things too, like knowing your hot button triggers, your core emotional wounds, your early childhood programming, all of the shadow stuff that's so fun to discover about ourselves. So knowing what you want, knowing who you like, knowing yourself. And the third piece that was coming up for me was, of course, I didn't write it down. Sorry, Tune Up Tuesday. But the third piece, there were a few. Like this is when, if it weren't live, I'd pause it to come back to my thoughts. But I'll leave you with those two today, because I'm not gonna sit here and ruminate. I'll just pop in on the comments when I remember the third piece. It was really good. But that third piece was somewhere around like, oh, got it. See, it comes around. Thanks for hanging in there. Trusting ourselves, knowing what you want, knowing yourself, and trusting yourself. That third piece is so crucial. That's why I probably forgot it, because I'm not trusting myself. But that third piece of trusting yourself, this is the thing that gets like chipped down, knocked down, and like steamrolled over and pulled apart as we move through our love life. As we like experience rejection over rejection, or less than extraordinary over less than extraordinary, and just disappointment after, like there's a little bit of our soul that feels like it gets stripped away with every single experience if you're not supported in an accountable container and really upholding your mindset and doing self-care and all the other wonderful things that coaching offers you. Bing! But trusting yourself, okay, coming back to what I just said, in order to trust ourselves and really like allow ourselves to lean into faith, lean into uncertainty, lean into belief when there is no evidence, we have to go back to those things that I just said, which is being held in a supportive container. So whether that be with a therapist, or in a coaching situation, or with your partners in believing, okay, and I talked about this a little bit with my group last week, your partners in believing are the people in your life that believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself, that believe that you are limitless. They believe in the highest possibility for you. And if you're not familiar with coaching, that's exactly what a coaching relationship offers you. But trusting yourself, okay, so what was I saying? It was the supportive container, the accountability of like either self-accountability or people checking in on you, ensuring that you're saying what you say you're going to do, because that builds self-trust and that builds confidence that you are your word, and your integrity level rises, your confidence, like your worthiness level rises. All of that wonderful stuff happens when we do what we say we're going to do. And then I was also saying, it's the supportive container, the accountability, the mindset. Oh, sister, this is a big one. Because, what I was saying, like every disappointment after disappointment just like pulls bits and parts of our souls away from the center. When we manage our mindset, when we have emotional mastery, we know we can separate our emotions from our experiences and really like pull the thread on the sweater, get through the root of it, and really like churn through those emotions and understand why we're experiencing them and how we can move through them. Woo! Do we have a richer tool belt to navigate the choppy waters of a dating life? Because this is the thing that I want to just make clear, that like in your dating life, I don't believe, and I would never promise that the disappointment or the heartache absolutely goes away. I believe that what happens when we scale up is that we have better tools and better resources to manage it in a better way. And when we have those tools and resources, our energy elevates, so the quality of the people that we interact with elevates as well. So there is, I will stand behind the belief that the disappointment, the frustration experience diminishes a bit. But, well, I would like to speak with the coach that says that they just completely eliminate that altogether, because I'm very curious about that. Yeah, I really believe that it's a combination of our vibration elevating and the disappointing diminishing, and having a stronger tool belt, a richer tool belt to really stay whole in that process. Oh, gosh. So 3 ways that we know when we know that we found something worth sticking around for, worth hanging out with. Maybe it's our person. And that is knowing what you want, knowing yourself, and being able to trust yourself. So, my dear, if you would like to know how to do those things, if you would like support on your journey of really embracing all of that, let me know. Drop me a comment in the box below, or shoot me a Facebook message at Bex Burton Coaching, or an email message at bex@bexburtoncoaching, because I have so much material. I have really beautiful programs and systems to support you in coming back to center, coming back to wholeness on this dating roller coaster that you feel like you're on, because it doesn't have to feel like that. The train is coming. I don't know if you can hear the train in the background, but my train is coming in. So I will drop a link in the comment section below, as well as the body of the post here, where you can get in touch with me to discuss your love life, chat with me about what's happening, what's not happening, and we can determine together if a coaching relationship is the right next step for you. For some people it is, for some people it isn't, but you know, the better we get to know each other, the better we know. So the better we know what we want, the better we know ourselves, and the better we trust ourselves, we know if this is a match. So I love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. I will be back next Tuesday with another Tune Up Tuesday. And if you have, as always, if you have any suggestions or questions that you'd like me to address on a Tune Up Tuesday or a broader training, shoot me a message. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what the needs of your heart are on your journey to love and how I can support you. Mwah. Have a beautiful day. Talk to you soon.